We begin in Los Angeles, where the National Guard arrived overnight following days of clashes over ICE deportations. In response to some protesters throwing objects at officers, law enforcement is using flashbang grenades.
Picture a half-lit Home Depot parking lot in Paramount at 3 o'clock on a Friday morning. A Black Hawk helicopter pulses overhead, its searchlight turning forklifts into eerie silhouettes, while ICE agents in desert tan armor herd pantry workers into buses with welded metal windows. A teenage daughter pushes through the police tape screaming, "Dejan-lo! Let him go," until she's yanked back, sobbing, by her neighbours. Within hours, Hasiugai storm LA trends worldwide, and Donald Trump fires off a Truth Social post promising troops everywhere, no masks, no excuses.
Showing a Worcester teenager pinned down in the street by ICE agents. We blurred the video because she is a minor.
Clashes between protesters and law enforcement were sparked by the crackdown on immigration ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump.
By sunset, 2,000 National Guard soldiers rumble down Alameda Street in riot vans, their tires popping sparks against the asphalt as protesters lock arms and scream, "The people united will never be deported." California and Washington have been circling each other since 2018, when the Golden State passed the Values Act, SB 54, a law that forbids most local police from turning immigrants over to ICE. Federal agents can still operate on their own, but they hate flying solo. Without county jails handing people over, raids are costlier and riskier. That standoff hardened after Trump's return to the White House in January 2025. On day 12, he signed an executive order directing ICE to neutralize sanctuary jurisdictions.
They spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers.
300 National Guard soldiers joining police on the front line.
And in the spring, Kern, Riverside, and 12 other counties quietly restarted or expanded 287 G-Jail deputation contracts, giving sheriffs the legal right to call ICE the moment someone enters the booking cage. The data tell the other half of the story. ICE's own dashboard shows removals rocketing to 271,484 in fiscal 2024, a 6-year high, and internal memos brag that California contributed nearly 1 in every 5 deportations. Agents complained they were still leaving bodies on the table because of SB 54's roadblocks. Trump, hunting a headline, found the perfect stage, Southern California, where hard numbers meet Hollywood cameras. On June 6th at exactly 4:02, ICE's enforcement and removal operations kicked off End Run, a fusion center plan that read like a military campaign order. Black SUVs peeled from a staging yard in South Gate and fanned across Los Angeles County, Chinatown, Echo Park, Compton, Van Nuys. Drone feeds flowed to a mobile command trailer near Union Station, where analysts watched infrared silhouettes flash across monitors and radioed ground teams when targets stepped outside their apartments. 44 people were in plasticuffs by lunchtime. ICE claimed each had a final deportation order or was a recent border crosser. But community advocates quickly produced affidavits showing that at least 9 detainees had lived in LA more than a decade, some with US citizen children, and no criminal record beyond a lapsed visa.
What we're seeing is it feels like it's an intimidation by the government rather than actually keeping the peace. And it's also very terrifying for us.
Videos shot on shaky phones turned the raid into visceral theatre. In Boyle Heights, neighbours formed a human chain around a transport van, chanting, "Sin papeles, sin miedo." Until LAPD skirmish lines broke them apart with pepper ball volleys that left the asphalt smeared red and white. TikTok clips racked up 10 million views before breakfast, pushing the story from local breaking news to national crisis. By evening, thousands of marchers flowed out of MacArthur Park toward the Metropolitan Detention Center, banging pots, waving Mexican flags, and hurling fistfuls of sage ash meant to cleanse evil spirits. The LAPD declared an unlawful assembly at dusk. Moments later, a mortar-style firework burst over the freeway, showering the convoy of ICE buses in pink sparks. Tear gas canisters arced back through the smoke like comets, and live streamers begged viewers for vinegar, milk, anything to soothe burning eyes. Watching the chaos on cable split screens, Trump signed a Title X memorandum, activating 2,000 National Guard soldiers for a 60-day mission to restore federal order. Governor Gavin Newsom called it Little Rock in Reverse, invoking 1957, when Eisenhower sent soldiers to enforce civil rights law.
I think that's really what laid the seeds of people wanting to have more activism from government at home and to do something about civil rights.
Now, Newsom argued, troops were being used to suppress it. National Guard Humvees rolled in by dawn Sunday, forming armoured walls outside Union Station and the detention centre. Protesters set a Tesla robo-taxi ablaze on the 101 freeway, its lithium battery hissing blue flames, while a Guard loudspeaker blared,
"Why more cars on fire during an anti-immigration and customs enforcement or ICE demonstrations?"
"Disperse immediately or face arrest." From the White House briefing room, Press Secretary Kimberly Guilfoyle accused radical Dems of turning Los Angeles into a safe haven war zone. She waved a placard claiming 62% of ICE arrestees had criminal histories, glossing over the fact that in Friday's sweep, not one public report listed a violent felony.
ICE, get out. We are a sanctuary city, and it is time. As a government teacher, we have rights, and so do our students.
On stage in Phoenix that night, Trump worked the crowd like a prize fighter. "If California won't police its streets, I will. Sanctuary is over." Pollsters tracking real-time sentiment saw his approval among core MAGA voters jump 6 points in 48 hours. Yet, a Reuters or Ipsos flash poll showed 58% of independents opposed using troops against protesters, underscoring the peril of campaign theatre bleeding into governance. Inside ICE's LA field office, morale is sky high, but nerves are raw. Agents complain their tactical gear is aging faster than their overtime checks arrive. And whistleblowers tell reporters the troops everywhere boast has sparked threats against their families. DHS officials, off the record, admit the West Wing wants daily arrest numbers on the Resolute desk, evidence for rally speeches, even as legal teams brace for a constitutional fight over commandeering state resources. Strip away the politics, and the statistics still stagger. ICE removals in fiscal 2024 hit 271,484, almost double the pandemic-era lows, and eclipsing every year since 2015. Quarter-over-quarter growth reached 69% last spring, and early fiscal 2025 figures suggest the agency is now averaging roughly 800 removals per day, a rate civil rights groups call industrial deportation. California, despite its sanctuary laws, remains the second largest contributor to those numbers, thanks to the Central Valley's agricultural audits and to jail transfers in counties that opted back into 287G. The state may fight on the courthouse steps, but numbers inside the ICE database tell a colder truth. The machine is humming. Ask Maria Luna what those numbers feel like. Her husband, Ernesto, a tire shop supervisor in South LA, was scooped up Friday on his way to open the store. He phoned her once from an unknown number, 30 seconds of rushed Spanish, a muffled te amo, before the line died. Their 6-year-old daughter now refuses to sleep unless the hallway light stays on. She's convinced Los Soldados will come back. At All Saints Church, volunteers fold cots in the basement and rehearse Know Your Rights skits in Mandarin, Tagalog, and Mixtec. Legal aid hotlines crash nightly, overwhelmed by frantic calls asking how to post bond that doesn't exist. Even people with US passports whisper about driving alone at night, afraid a busted taillight might spiral into an ICE check gone wrong.
Violent clashes between immigration advocates and ICE agents caused a day and night of chaos in LA.
So what happens next? A federal judge in the Ninth Circuit could issue a temporary restraining order blocking Trump's guard deployment within days. Sacramento's emergency bill package would turn every K-12 campus, hospital, and homeless shelter into a legally protected, sensitive location, daring the Justice Department to sue. ICE officials hint End Run will expand east into the Inland Empire and south to Orange County before the month is out. And Trump, already teasing a second wave of troops, has found a new applause line. We're taking back California, one arrest at a time.
Well, right now in California, police and protesters clashing over ICE agents attempting to conduct sweeping immigration raids.
In this battle, law, politics, and humanity collide, and whatever side you stand on, no one walks away untouched. If you're in California and fear a raid, call the Rapid Response Network at 1-844-87-87801.
Yes, Audrey, most counties in the Bay Area have a rapid response network where people can call to report ICE activity in their neighborhoods.
Remember, you have the right to remain silent, to refuse a warrantless search, and to speak to an attorney before signing anything. Stay alert, stay connected, and stay human. Because in times like these, dignity is a form of resistance.